The pain is blinding, and whenever you wake, you find yourself screaming in pain to then swiftly return to unconsciousness and the peace of that, Sigrid. Your wounds are in really bad shape, all of you, but none quite so bad as Sigrid, whose face is partly caved in on one side. The wound is pretty hideous, and the eye within is definitely ruined, and it's hard to look at without feeling sick. It looks like a wound that will kill someone. You have seen plenty of those before. And it definitely looks like this is a wound that could end a life. There is activity all around you in the small camp that overlooks the ford in the river. You had stopped here before heading down to the ford. There are Tuathan warriors moving all around in groups past the camp and across the river to set up there. They're massing there as an army. And it's clear that the invasion is about to be underway now that the champion at the fort is defeated. And Queen Myrrhen will send her forces to try and conquer King Aedan across the river. It's been several hours, the better part of a full day, since you fought the champion. And you've been resting and recuperating here at this little camp. You've been looked after and given food and drink and whatever else you need. While you are here. But the situation is pretty intense, and your wounds are not superficial. What have you been doing and thinking since that battle?
Belaga has been on the island, spending most of the time by himself. Were any to see him, they would see him down by the river in the morning with the mist rising off of it. He's washing himself, and his hands are black with the coal that he's brought down with him. And he combs it in to his matted blonde hair, blackening it before he turns and looks up into the trees. I think if it's okay, Lord, I think that there is an unkindness of ravens that have gathered there, just like this foreboding black cloud of cawing birds, waiting for ravens are wise, and they know that there will be much to feast on soon. And I think that's what Belaga has been doing.
There were some pretty big disagreements between you, and the battle was ongoing. How are you feeling about that now, in the sort of time post-battle when the tempers are cooled?
I imagine that it was a harrowing night, the night after that battle, right? And I'm sure that the spirits of Odin and perhaps Morrigan as well haunted his dreams. He went to places he'd never been before. But if this is a few days after, then I think that his temperament has cooled, and in a way, a true follower of Odin. I think that he rationalizes it to himself that this fate was put upon him by a witch, and he acted in accordance with the Allfather. For it was her time to be slain. If she was truly the champion, she would not have crossed swords with us. And how dare she incant the name of one who is not Odin?
Back at the camp, let's say it's been 3 or 4 days, Queen Myrrhen herself will arrive. She's dressed for war, her long hair is braided. She has this fine armor of iron inlaid with gold and bronze. And she'll stop by where you've been staying. You've been given sort of quarters in which to rest, all of you. And she's flanked by guards as well as the druid whom you had met before. And she said, "You defeated the champion, and for that I am grateful. But it seems the god's wrath cannot be avoided, even by outlanders. We would call that a naming wound here." And she'll gesture with her chin towards your eye, Sigrid. "Perhaps it can be healed." And she'll look at the druid at her side, and he tuts and seems unsure about that. "I will leave you in his hands," she says, and she'll turn to join the warriors.
Sigurd will look up at the druid. I think even with her good eye, she's kind of squinting because of the pain that's just radiating out everywhere in every moment. And if they're outside, she's holding her hand up above just to even block sunlight because it just adds to the intensity of the migraine that's pulsing through her. And she'll just look at him and kind of nod to him and what say you?
He'll lean down and look, and he'll take your chin and move your head this way and that so he can see in the light. And he tuts and sort of clicks a few times and sighs. "This wound will fester. I can treat it and drain it and try to ensure that it does not kill you, but your eye is gone. And it's an open wound on your face. It will not go well. Maybe I could save you with the eye. I have not the skills to grow you a new one. Neither does your body. It's only with sorcery that you could try and regain one. But I would question how badly you truly need it, if that is the path you wish to go down."
She'd kind of sit and think about that for a few seconds, and such sorcery exists.
Certainly. But it will not be easy to acquire the necessary things.
Who has this knowledge?
I can do the ritual if I have the required pieces, but the required pieces are hard to acquire.
What is needed?
In the old woods, a day south of here, there dwells a creature. Some call him the Old Man of the Forest, and some call him the King of Bonfires. Some call him the Keeper of Stones. He has many names, but his ilk have the necessary magic to fix this. If you bring me the head of that creature, I can undertake a ritual to restore your eye. But this is no simple beast that you hunt. It is a living thing and a thinking thing, and an old thing of the woods.
She'll kind of nod and your wisdom is appreciated.
I can slow the infection, and your friend's work has been exemplary. But every day that you're out of care, the real chance that it sets in again and festers. If you leave here and are not seen to each day, you would have a week maybe before it sets back in. I will let you think on it. And then he'll go to you, Niall, and look at your wounds and make sure that nothing has festered or become infected, and he'll do the same then to you, Einar, looking over and turning your arm this way and that and bending it to make sure that nothing is broken and the healing parts are healing. And he'll leave with you all like a poultice to put on this cut and like some herbs to crush into this thing so you can drink it to lessen the pain. Various like treatments, and then he'll go on his way and leave you in the house together to discuss.
I think Einar is pulling his shirt on, and basically like his ribs and one side of his face, although it's been a couple of days, he's got that kind of tinge greenish bruising going on his body. So we've fulfilled our oath, but it may be some time before the queen fulfills her side of the bargain. So seems that we have some time to explore this island. Or do we turn around and go home? But I don't think any of us want to leave empty-handed after all the work that we've done.
I think Jarl's sitting there, shirtless, the bindings across his wound. Probably thankful for the layers of fat he has. So it kept the weapon from getting to anything vital. Something you learn, I think, with age. And he kind of looks at Einar and over to Sigrid. Kind of runs his tongue across his teeth, chews on it a bit because what he wants to say, he chooses not to. But I think the look says it all when he looks at Sigrid as he weighs the words of the druid. And then I think he looks back at Einar. We have not accomplished anything here, really. Promise from a queen who has not upheld her half. Yeah. What happens if she dies in her fight with this king? What then? So is Inger here? Is he just...
Yeah, he would be here, and I think he would also be seeing to your wounds and stuff and keeping you all from falling apart most of the time. I think that when the druid dropped that bomb, he would have walked with the druid to find out what he could about this creature and how that ritual would work and what would be required and like the details basically of that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think continuing his conversation with Einar, he says, "You need to speak to the queen, and she must give you the bounty promised before she crosses the river."
Question: is this Old Man of the Forest, would he be located on the king's side of the island that they're going to?
No, he's directly south of you, so it would be in sort of... It actually is in neither of their lands. It's like there's a forest that neither of them claim.
Got it.
You wouldn't have to cross the river. You certainly can. Right now, it's under her control. You can cross the river as you please, and you can go find her. You don't really have a reason to think that she wouldn't hold up her side of the bargain. It just hasn't necessarily come up in the time since you've been like mostly unconscious. But I'm sure like you think that if you pressed her, like she would give you the stuff that it was agreed on. And the deal was that like if you do this part, she'll provide you with the iron.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you then use your crew to assist in the conquest, that she would send warriors back with you, Tuathan warriors with you. It was like a 2-part thing.
Yeah.
But you've done the first, and so you're guaranteed that iron. Like she swore it in her hall in front of all those people. There's no way she would go back on that. You think?
Right. Yeah, I was just trying to think if we could kill two birds with one stone. If we go, if it was in the direction of the king, we could reave and take care of
Okay.
Sigrid's eye problem. But that not being the case, I would say, well, we could look. Our warriors are hungry for battle, and there is a battle across the river. Our men we can reave while we help the queen secure her victory on the king. But we also, I look at Sigurd. But what of you?
I do not know how much help I will be in battle right now. I throw daggers, I shoot bows. And I'm going to have to maybe relearn all of that. If I'm lucky, I might get a shot. But
Hold on.
I
Go ahead. I
think
trying
that
to think of
this
something.
under his breath, Niall says, "Reap what you sow." He's still a little bit bitter about what happened at the river those few days ago. And I think in Jarl's eyes, the gods punished her for what she did, and that's why she lost her eye. So he just he mumbles that as he's
Sigurd
pulling a shirt on.
Sigurd will kind of like scoff a little bit at it, and I did what needed to be done.
You almost got my nephew killed and myself with your impulsive actions, girl.
I didn't almost get my nephew or your nephew killed. Your nephew fell. Before that, I had nothing to do with your nephew falling.
And
that was not my call. That was all of you. Every single one of you caused him to fall. Not me. Do not put that on me.
I may be mistaken, because it has been a couple of months since we played. But I think I remember Sigrid throwing a dagger at her and then her coming across, and that's when Einar got pummeled.
But Einar fought her. You put Einar forward as the person to fight the champion.
Oh, yeah.
He got battered, and then...
Okay, all right. It's all coming back to me now. Yeah. Okay, so he was the champion. He lost. Okay, so you say that. Niall looks at you and he pulls his head through his tunic, and he looks and he said, "It was a fair fight. He lost."
It was not a fair fight. That was not a fair fight at all. That was... You sent him to slaughter. That queen has had champions going at that woman for years and has not been able to beat them. And you thought Einar was going to be able to do it? She hired us as mercenaries, like Magni, to jump a woman in a fjord and kill her. And between her throne room and that waterway, you all decided your honor was more important. For some reason, you decided to piss away everything we're trying to do by putting the one person we can't have die in front of her. That was not on me that he fell. I actually tried to say something, to come up with a different plan. And Inger, and she looks over at Inger, who is here, and she looks over and Inger
left. Inger.
Oh yeah, sorry. She say it to you guys. And Inger cut me off and said, "No, you must fight and win, or you must fight and die." Do any of you think that queen is stupid? Do you think she doesn't know why we're here? To take from her land? We rolled in with a ship full of warriors. Einar, you're talking marriage and alliances and trade. And she offers you something and she hires you as a mercenary, but then your honor is too important. And then you guys put Einar in front of that woman. He is only alive because that woman backed off. Otherwise, he would be dead. And we'd all be sailing home.
Yeah, I think just real quick.
Mhm.
Y'all's not gonna say anything because she's definitely insulting Einar several times. She is insulting Einar in y'all's eyes. She's basically saying that he's not a warrior. And that if anything, that just rankles y'all's feathers even more. But I'm just gonna give it an opportunity for Einar to speak up.
Mhm.
Admit I have made a mistake in an error of judgment. In my pride, I tried to play by the rules of these Tuathan, and we are not Tuathan. We are Isklafen. And we should have been playing by our own rules. So for this, it is my mistake. And for that, I believe our best course of action is I will leave Yorm in charge of the men, and he will accompany the queen and her men and go into the king's land, and we will provide the warriors as promised for the oath that we gave. In the meantime, we will seek out this old man in the forest, and I will rectify the mistake that I made that have cost you your eye, Sigrid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Njal says nothing, but he's definitely shaking his head when you say that.
I think Sigrid kind of backs down a little bit, expecting more out of this and more from everyone. She I did what needed to be done so you would not fail for that queen. What would you have done? Walked back with our tails tucked? Everything we came here for. I am thankful for your offer and your willingness to carry through. But if all we are going to do is go into another fight and throw you in front of another thing,
We are warriors. If we're not fighting, then we're fucking. And if we're not fucking, then we're fighting. So what else are we to do?
that's true, but we don't have to be fucking stupid about it.
Look, we don't have to necessarily fight. If the druid's words are true, perhaps just seeking out this old man in the forest, perhaps there's something of trade, something that he wants in return, and we do not have to put the sword to it, so to speak. You are one of my best warriors and a hell of an archer. And unfortunately, in your current state, you wouldn't be much of an archer at this point.
Understood.
So it is settled. Yorn will take the men into the king's lands. He will reeve. We will The men will be happy. They will collect their hack silver. Any spoils that they take will be theirs. We will have fulfilled our second part of our oath with the queen, and she will give us the land that we were promised, as well as the iron. In the meantime, we will explore the rest of this. Well, we'll explore the southern part of the isle as we seek out this old man.
I think Sigurd will kind of sit down and like just put a hand over her bad eye, and she's kind of, you can watch her color kind of swaying in and out as the pain kind of ebbs and flows through her head. And do we give the queen all of our men? The druid said this was not a creature to be trifled with. The last time someone told us this, they were not lying.
Your point. However, what we are doing is not. If it is this creature, then I don't want to bring any more men to the slaughter, so to speak. And like I said, we won't be in haste to fight with this creature. If it turns out to be more than we can handle, we'll get out of there. I still believe we should leave a man or two with our boats, though I'm not sure what all that good that will do. The queen has more men than we. If he wanted to take our boats or burn them, he would have done so already. I'm afraid we're at the mercy of the goodwill of the queen in the meantime.
I think at this point she views us as efficient tools.
Yes.
And is
She'll
smart
keep us
enough to keep
alive
us
as long
around.
as we are useful. Yes.
Exactly.
So let's be useful. Let the men rave. Let us go do our own exploring. Perhaps the queen is not the only power in this isle. Let's go see what this old man has to offer.
So sometime later, Inger will find all of you gathered together, and he'll say that he needs to remain here and prepare the ritual with the druid. It's quite an involved thing. You'll have to bring the head of this old man of the forest back here. And when that happens, there'll be a complicated ritual that you'll have to undergo, Sigrid. At the end of that, it should be possible to restore your eye. But yeah, he'll tell you he has to remain here to help with the preparations for the ritual. It'll take several days to make ready for something this powerful. And so you're going to send most of your crew with Yorm to go and fight. Okay. And you guys are going to go to the woods.
I think Sigrid would kind of point out again once Einar comes back and reports. She'd say, I know we're going to try to talk to this old man that the druid keeps calling a creature. But I feel like we should take a few of our men. Those are interesting words that are being danced around.
Realistically, how many men could we spare? Like 5?
It's up to you. I think you have 40 odd, right? With you, or was it 60? I can't remember actually.
I think it was closer to 60 because didn't Magni bring 40?
No, he brought 10.
Oh, did he? I thought he brought way more than that.
But you already had a base crew, and I think it's close to 60. So, I mean, obviously, like every man is useful in the battle, but there's already a lot of dudes there. The difference one extra guy makes for you is pretty notable, I guess, you know? But it's up to you. Like, it might be smart to bring like 1 or 2 of your better fighters with you. if you wanted to do that, I don't think you need to bring like. I mean, you can bring all of them if you want. You know. Um,
No, I mean, I'm okay bringing a few. I just don't want to detract from our reaving band. You know, every man that we take out of there, it's less on the front end. So
yeah. Okay. So if you like bring 5 with you, you'll still be sending like 50 dudes to
yeah.
the war, and then you'll have the rest to stay and guard the ship.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll take 5.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else you want to do before you leave to go to the... you'll have had a long rest before you leave here. You'll have had several days rest there. You do have the lose an eye condition currently, Sigrid, so that means a bunch of stuff. It's like disadvantage on...
Basically everything that I do.
Yeah, so disadvantage on range attacks, disadvantage on investigation or perception, and a -5 to passive perception.
Yeah.
And that will be the case.
What was that? Can you repeat it just one more time for me? I'm sorry. I just want to write it down.
I just threw it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Cool. Thank you.
I think at some point during the days leading up to our departure, that Belager would like to talk to either the druid or maybe like that. I forget what his name was, but he was like one of the Tuathan generals with like the shock of white hair and the mustache.
Lord Aemon.
So he'll go and talk to Lord Aemon, and he'll say, "The old man in the forest. You know of him, right? You grew up in these lands. What can you tell me about it?"
He's not a man.
He's a beast, then.
Something between, I suppose.
Jotun?
He like makes a face. He doesn't know what that is.
Giant.
Something like that. Yes. He's of the woods. He's of the land. He's not the only one of his kind, but there aren't many of them. We don't go into the old woods, and he does not come out of them.
No one goes. Surely someone's gone. You must know someone who's gone there and come back.
I know of people who have gone. They say that he is not violent or cruel or hateful, but that instead he plays music to which all must dance.
Okay.
And that they would rather stay there, cavorting, than to leave again. But I do not know. There are tales.
Tales, and yet you'd never go in those old woods, huh?
No.
Are there things worse than the old man?
Certainly.
In the woods?
Oh, I don't know about that. I would think that he would be the most frightening thing there, if he's frightening at all. He could be friendly and jovial. They say that he delights in song, and stories, and revelry. He shrugs like he doesn't really know. And there are more terrible things in this land than he. There's Baelor of the Baleful Eye. There's various giants and Fomorians and...
There's who of the Baleful Eye?
Balor.
Who is that?
He's the king of the giants. He looks at you like, obviously.
The king of the giant?
Yes.
He's from Jotunheim.
No, he's from the sea.
The king of the giants lives in the sea.
No, he lives here. He's from the sea. They came from the sea. They tried to remove our forefathers from this land. There was a great battle. It shaped the world. You must know this.
I know of the great battle that will end the world.
It's not how the world will end.
Listen, back to this old man, the old man of the forest. Oftentimes there are tales, superstitions. Such as if you throw a bundle of sticks down, a creature must pick them up, and he looks furtively over towards the water. If you step in the water, it will spell your doom. Things like this. Is there any superstitions about this old man we should know?
He fears the sun. The tree canopy is thick and dark in the old wood. He would not thank you to be in sunlight, they say. And like most creatures of this earth, of the true earth, of the land that came from it, he has a dislike for the cold iron. But that is true of elves and of fairies and many other things.
Lloyd, that's a tradition that Isklof shares too? Is that right?
A lot of like fey-ish creatures have a fear of cold iron.
Now, is cold iron just so... I think Belager would know because he's got like, whatever, Seathwise or whatever. What is cold iron? Is it like specifically treated or what?
It's unforged iron.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Belager will slap his knee and stand up and hand this man a drinking horn and slap him on the back. If he doesn't think that would be a threatening gesture. Before returning to his friends and informing them what he's learned of the old man. Now, let me ask you this, Lloyd. The bull of the Red Mountain, the champion who we slew, what did she wield? She used a club, right? Was it just like a wooden club?
Yeah, so it was like a curved wooden club that had some kind of stone at the end.
Yeah. At some point he'll row back to look at that stuff. Or I don't know if Einar has that or if someone else has it. And she had a shield too, right?
Yeah, yep. That was all she had.
Okay.
And a cloak. Yeah, looking at it, it's like a one-handed club. It's sort of straight and then like becomes heavier at the end, and there is like some stone or something there at the end of it. Like you think a brutal and simple and primitive weapon, but in her hands it certainly did the job.
Stone, but not cold iron by any chance.
Maybe.
No. Interesting.
You'd have to look into it, I guess, you know.
Yep. So Belager will lay these items down at the feet of his companions, and he'll tell them what he learned of the old man of the forest, and he'll say, if he fears the sun, maybe we should bring something to make a great fire, a bonfire. I don't know if that'll do anything. It could give us the edge. In any rate, I am prepared to depart whenever the rest of you want to go. Whenever you say, Anna.
And what does Odin say, brother?
Odin says many things. And I wish that he spoke more to me, but when he does, he tells me to follow you. That is the song, or what I can make of it. It's cryptic. I wish it was easier. But I'm done asking questions of witches and parlaying with blasphemers, for that has brought me nothing but ruin. So I will follow you and kill who you tell me to kill. And I will rejoice in the blood, in the name of Odin, for he and I are glad of war.
Let's go hunting.
So a day later, you arrive in the old forest. You've never seen a forest like this. These ancient trees stretch up all around. The ground is really thick with undergrowth, making every step quite difficult to avoid a root or some moss or some sort of puddle from a stream. So it's slow going. The trees are huge and thick with these great round trunks, and they stretch high into the sky where their canopies cover so thickly that the forest is as dark as night itself as you're within it. You can begin your journey on the search for this old man of the forest. So I'll need every day basically that you're in the forest for you to make like a sort of tracking check to see if you can find signs of this thing. If you get enough signs, then you'll find it potentially. So
I imagine it will find us actually.
yeah. So I'll need a check from one of you. Perception, investigation, world-wise. It does require sight, Sigrid, so it's not going to be something that you can. Oh, you'll have disadvantage if you're using your sight for it, right? So, you can certainly make the attempt.
Belager will whistle, and a blackbird will appear in the trees. And I'm pretty good at perception, and I also, because of the raven that follows me, I have advantage on spotting foes at a distance. Would that count here or no?
No, because you're not trying to spot foes. Well, I guess at a huge distance you're trying to spot a foe, but not in this exact case. No.
Okay. Unless someone else wants to roll, I'll roll because I got a pretty good modifier.
It's also like he would have to fly to give you that, and the canopy is there, so
that's fair. Yeah, I got a +6 to perception, but I rolled a 4 on the die, so
okay.
That's a 10, yeah.
So you march for most of the day, searching this way and that, and it's like early evening by the time you spot your first thing, a bonfire, though some days old, this big fire in the middle of the forest. None of the trees around it are burnt or anything like that, but clearly there was a bonfire here. You like pick up some of the ashes, it's cold, and you can tell it's a few days at this stage. But they did mention that he was the king of bonfires. That's one of the names they gave. And so you think you're on the right track. But you take a long ass time to find it. You basically spend most of the day wandering this way and that, and unsure of where you're going or what you're doing. It feels even longer than that. When you don't know where you're going or what you're looking for, the day feels very, very long. And you notice like there's plenty of bird song and plenty of insects, but you don't see any animals so far in your journey. And that's maybe unusual. I guess none of you really spend that much time in the forest except for Sigrid. And you've never been in a forest like this. So each night, which will be now, you need to sort of scrounge up something comfortable to rest. You begin at well supplied because you just left, so you have 5 supplies each at the moment. And you're gonna like roll 3d6 total, so for the whole party roll 3d6. And you're trying to basically scrounge up water, shelter, and food. And if you don't find them, you have to use a supply instead.
I just looked on my shiny Iskloft character sheet, and there are little radio buttons for the supply level. That's pretty slick, man. Nice job. Nicely done.
The individual numbers is what I need, Alan. So, like, you roll 3d6s, I guess, not 3d6. Okay. So, you're able to find food, no problem. You find this like berry bush, and the berries are like fat and delicious, and like unbelievably like moreish and filling. You find sweet water from a stream, but you are struggling to find somewhere to sleep. The whole place is wet and damp the whole time, and because there are so many trees in such thickness, it's actually hard to find anywhere where you could like lay down. And so it takes some time, and you'll need to spend a supply from one of your stashes to like secure a good place to rest, but you can do so. So just keep track of that. We're probably not going to run out. You have plenty of supply, and it's not that far, but just in case.
Can we reutilize one of these bonfires that we found?
If you would like to, you can do that.
Might as well. I mean, if he's king of bonfires, maybe he'll come, come to us.
Yeah,
But-
so you can light this fire, and it takes a little bit to get going, but there's no shortage of wood. And you can light this roaring fire. It's huge, but weirdly, it doesn't burn the canopy above, and it doesn't seem to burn trees or even moss nearby. It is hot, like it's giving you the heat of a bonfire, and you can cook in it and things like that, but it doesn't seem to destroy the area around it, which is unusual.
As this bonfire crackles, Belaga will walk over to one of these gnarled trees, and he'll reach up and he'll scramble up. He'll climb the tree, and he's going to try to climb up if he can, as long as it's not ridiculously unsafe. He wants to see if he can get to the top of it and see above the canopy.
Sure, you can make athletics.
Uh, 23.
No problem. Yeah. They seem made for climbing. Thick branches at convenient heights, all the way up almost. And you're able to climb up with and scramble all the way up to the top without much issue, and break your head out over the top. It's like the air is so much clearer. It's not stuffy in the forest, but you get that sort of like as if you're at a concert and there's that haze of heat at head level, and then you like jump above it for a moment and you get that little bit of fresh cold air. That's what it feels like. And you can see that the forest stretches pretty far ahead of you. You can look behind you and see that you've come a pretty significant distance today. Definitely like 15 miles thereabouts. So you've been working hard and you've been going hard all day. And yeah, it's dark now. It's a cool, quiet night.
Yeah, he'll breathe in that brisk air, a welcome change to the dankness underneath. And he'll scan the horizon, and he'll look to see if he can see any smoke from other bonfires.
Ooh, interesting. You could make a perception, and you could do it with advantage because you have your raven.
Oh, yeah. That's it. The first one's a natural 20.
Oh my god. Yep. So your raven flies up, high up into the air, and looks down. Can you see through your raven's eyes or no? It tells you.
I think next level I can, but I
Okay.
don't think I can do that yet. No, I don't think so.
So it will sort of instead it will like land and explain to you in this weird series of calls what it has seen. But there are fires burning in various parts of this forest. You can see the smoke rising, and even the light sort of filters through the canopy. And it says it looks like a shape, like the fires are spread out in a way to make a sort of symbol. It doesn't know what the symbol is or like what it means or anything, but definitely it looks deliberate.
Yeah, he'll squint and try to make any sense of it, but probably from where he is, he can't actually like make out what the shape is, but that is interesting. And he'll try to, as best as he can, like hanging on the top of a tree, triangulate where these places, where these bonfires are burning, and try to see if he can figure out where to go.
Yeah, I think you could. I mean, you'd be able to see like one or two in the distance, but then the forest really stretches for quite some distance. And so they see like you can see some in front of you and some like to your right and to your left, and so they are. It doesn't look like they're leading to a particular place necessarily, you know.
Like how ballpark? How many are we talking? Like
Like more than 10.
okay.
Yeah.
A few minutes later, Belaga stands in front of the bonfire, telling his allies what he saw. They make some sort of a shape, a pattern, but only the gods know what it is, what it means. Do you hear that, Sigrid? I don't hear anything. No beasts.
She kind of stops and tilts her ear sideways, closes her eye, and if I'm listening to the forest, Lloyd, is it more obvious where there is a lack of sound? Like which direction? Is there less sound over to this side, but there's actually animal sound back here or anything?
No, it's weirdly quiet throughout.
Okay.
Like you've seen insects and you've seen birds, but there's not that much song and there's not
Mhm.
that much chirping. So whether it's because the forest is so thick or something, but it's not like you passed through a point and then suddenly it was quiet. It's like as soon as you entered the forest, it was quite quiet.
If I step on a stick on the ground, does it sound muffled?
No,
Does it
doesn't.
sound different? It sounds normal? Okay. She'll kind of step on a stick that's near her where she's sitting around this big bonfire that we lit, and I don't I don't think it's an effect of the woods. I don't think there's something odd. I think it's just a lack of creature, or at least a reason for the creatures to act as they normally would. Um, one other thing I want to do, Lloyd, while we're sitting here and we're doing this, is actually because I'm a hunter. Um, I have the ability to make traps and trails and in temperate or frigid, and I can feed up to 5 others. So she's going to try to set up some traps,
Sure.
see if we can catch anything overnight while we're sleeping so that we can kind of make sure we have supply for the next day.
Yep. Okay, you can make me a worldwise check.
Okay.
While the bonfire's going and after Baligar tells us what he saw, Einar will stand and just kind of face in the direction of which Baligar saw the signals and stuff and say and shout out into the darkness of the forest. I am Einar, lost son of Hafloder, and I come seeking the one known as the Old Man of the Forest. I ask you to show yourself.
Um, you could all make a Seathwise check if you have that skill, or if you don't.
Do not have that. What is that tied to?
With intelligence, actually.
Okay, cool.
Niall, maybe unexpectedly for you, you like hear him shouting and you're like staring into the fire and there's a face in the fire and it's looking at you, you think. Like looking at you and sort of quizzically turns its head this way and that. It's not like no detail, but you can sort of make out what looks to be like eyes and a mouth within the fire. Um, just for a second, you think you can see that.
Um, yeah, of course it happens to the guy that's the most superstitious in the group. He stands up and he just says to no one in particular, but it's probably aimed towards Aina. He says, "We should not be here. This is not a natural place. You upset the gods, Aina, by bringing us here." And he points to the fire. "I see faces in the fire. A normal man does not see these things. We should turn back before we cause more of an affront." And he kind of looks off into the darkness of the forest. And you probably you don't see this too often on Yal's face, right? He's pretty confident that he's done what he needs to do to prove that he's earned his spot in the corpse hall. But you see fear on Yal's face.
He heard me. And he's more than some story or tale that wives tell their little children.
not a good thing. Just because he hears you, boy.
We came here for a purpose. So let's be about it. No more
Yeah, I
hiding.
think-
We are here in the open. We seek an audience with you. And I'll take my sword and I will put it into the ground, like right next to the bonfire.
I think Jarl spits on the ground before he sits back down. Doesn't say another thing.
There are those who wish for me to take your head. But if you are as powerful as they say, I believe we can come to a different understanding. My friend here has lost her eye. Perhaps you are powerful enough to restore it. And in return, name your price.
Once he says that, Jarl, his surprisingly fast for his size, gets up and he grabs Einar roughly and spins him around. What are you doing, you fool? This thing is not
If this
a
creature is as
man.
powerful as they say, Uncle, it's unlikely that we could fight it and live.
So we don't
If anything,
fight it.
if
We
anything,
leave.
that druid sent us out here to die, and then the queen has no reason to uphold her bargain.
He kind of breathes through his teeth, clenched. This is a fool's errand. We have no need to be here. You are here because, and he looks and he points at Sigrid. Your guilt. You feel guilty for her eye.
I have every need to be here. If it was you, if it was Belaga, if it was Igna, I would be here all the same.
He shakes his head. He said, no, because I would never ask you to do it.
You don't
That
have
is
to
the-
ask me, and that is the point.
He shoves him. He says, you are a foolish boy. I have failed you. I thought you were a man ready to lead.
And I thought you said you would follow, but yet you whine like some old cow.
Call me a cow if you wish, but one who leads men takes the responsibility of all. Tell me, why are we here? If not for your guilt you feel because she lost an eye. Warriors fight. Warriors die. Does not mean you go foolishly running into the forest to face something you know nothing about, maybe getting you killed, me, others. What is the purpose here, boy? Tell me. Tell me. And he's like doing this point as he's saying, he emphasizes it by poking into your chest. You'll be a Jarl, you want to lead? You tell me. More men will die when you lead. What will you do? Will you hope to bring them back? It won't happen. You need to embrace your death, but do it with honor. I see no honor here. Something in this forest is not right. And he shakes his head. If you lead me further in, I will follow you. Yes. But does not change how I feel.
What would you have me do?
I would tell you, but I don't think you would listen.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to the whispers of the shadows of this forsaken place. Listen to yourself.
I think Yao nods when Belagus says that.
You need to listen to the lessons that are being taught to you. Yes, we are here from my eye. Yes. I did not ask, but we are here for it. You there is wisdom in all of this. My eye, it's flesh, it's but the gods did not take my eye from me. I gave them my eye for you. I stood in the halls. I saw my brother. And before they sent me back for you, I gave them my eye for the wisdom you need, for the lesson you need to learn. Among all the things we are talking about here, you need to learn as a leader, as one who is to lead men, that sometimes you need to know when to ask those who will do and can to do. That battle, that fight, that was not a testament to our honor, that fight with that woman. But you let your concerns with honor in a land where it doesn't matter to us, you let it win. And you almost died because of it. I almost died because of it. I still could. We could do this, and I could die walking back with that head in my hands. I will continue to follow. And I swore 12 years ago to stand by your side, and I will. But you need to learn the lessons. Because right now, you've not been taught how to actually lead men. You've been taught how to fight. You've been taught how to give orders during a battle. Einar, you need to learn to lead your men. And she kind of just sits back down at the fire.
You all have given me much to think about. I know there is much wisdom in the words that you speak. I will take heed of them. Perhaps the gods will see that I do what is right. It's late. We should probably get our rest. I'll have my decision in the morning.
You think you see the face smile in the fire, Niall, as you turn to rest. And you are warm throughout the evening, and you sleep peacefully and calmly, and without any fits whatsoever. You awaken feeling refreshed. You awaken to the sound of birds, and the water tastes sweet and delicious, and the berries, as yesterday, are ripe and plump.
I find stuff in my traps too, right?
You do,
Yep.
Yep, you find like fat rabbits that were like trapped in such a way as to like not mar their appearance in any sort of way, and look like they died very peacefully. Sort of bizarre, actually. It never looks like that. You can rise and make ready for the rest of your journey. Are you going to continue further in, or what are you going to do?
Thinking on what you've all told me. Sigrid, you paid a heavy price in my stead. So, but I believe you are all right in that this may be a fool's errand. We're in an unknown land, and these powers are, well, without even Ingar being here with us, I'm not sure facing anything of the Fae or magic and origin would be in our best interest. So we will return. We will join up with Magni and Yorm, and we will get what we came for.
Okay, can you make someone make a wound wise check to check on Sigrid's eye? Do one of these every day.
I'm not sure that you want me to do that. I don't have a very high skill in that.
You may be the only one with a skill in it.
I have 2, but I don't think I can check my own eye.
No,
So
no.
Do you have any skill points, Alan, in Woundwise?
Woundwise? No, I do not.
Locrius?
Belager doesn't. He does have a +3 to his wisdom score. So I guess
Belager makes wounds. He does.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably. I guess he's sewn himself up enough times. I don't know, or like patched himself up.
We're even. So you could either you or I could check her eye. I'll do it. Natural 20. I love you, Kenya.
Nice. Okay.
I love you, Lionel. We're going to talk about this later, dear.
Looking forward to it.
So you succeed and you repress the infection for another day. So that's good news. You won't have any symptoms from like the burning or anything like that for the day. And so you're intending to leave the forest now. Okay. I will then need another like wilderness style check to find your way out. So world-wise makes sense, or perception, I think is what you did yesterday.
I mean, I can give it a go if you guys want. I have a +6, so even at disadvantage, I'm kind of okay.
If Belager helps her, will that give her advantage and cancel out her?
No. It's up to you guys.
I mean, mechanically, Belager has a +6, so I should roll, right? I'll roll.
Okay.
Plus 15. Total of 15.
Okay, you start your journey back, and you're making good progress, you think. It's hard to know. It all looks the same as you're moving through this forest. And a couple of hours into your walk, you come upon a unusual sight. There is a clearing, and like you can see a little tiny beam of sun is breaking through and shining on this standing stone. It's 3 times the height of a man, and it's carved with all these intricate carvings. There's some sort of script on it, but you can't read it. It's not like runes or anything. And there are all these carvings of like men and women engaged in all sorts of like hedonism and fornication and drinking and partying all over, top to bottom. It's like 18 feet of insane carvings. There is several times along this stone this shape of a large man with antlers who's watching the proceedings, not engaging. There are offerings all around the bottom of this thing. There are like flowers, there's meat, there's like various flasks of drink. How they got here is unknown, I suppose. You haven't seen any of the people in here. And there's even like gold and silver like laying at the base of this thing. You see that on your way, sort of as you're trying to find your way out.
Belager will whistle to the raven, who will, in an uncanny manner, appear. And he will say, "The shape you saw in the fires, do you see it inscribed on this stone?"
Yeah, it'll caw and then fly to the stone and like peck at this shape. It's sort of like a star, but more complicated. There are an uneven number of points, and there's a spiral sort of behind it, like a triskelet, like a triple spiral. Complicated symbol and not very angular, which is you're used to angular symbols. It's hard to carve a circle into a stone, which is why runes are the way they are. And so, yeah, but it would point at the symbol.
For that, I have no idea what this means, but that's the symbol in the fires. But it bears no likeness to the runes. I don't know. What is it? A maze? A labyrinth? I don't know. He'll hold out like his hand to the rabbit, and you can see like there's like this not to the rabbit, to the raven. You can see there's like this congealed rabbit's eyeball that he's been holding just for this moment, and he'll feed it to the raven.
Yeah, we'll swallow it eagerly.
A whirlpool. I don't know. What could it be? What do you make of it, Ina?
It looks to be some sort of ritual stone. There's offerings there, perhaps. There. Give me one of the rabbits that you caught in your trap.
She'll reach behind and pull a leather strap, and the rabbit drops off and hand it over to him.
I will take one of these rabbits and I will just put it along with the offerings.
You make me a wisdom save.
Ugh. All right. Oh, okay. At least I get to add my proficiency to this. Oh, nice. Okay. 17.
So you feel a wave of pleasure as you place the thing at the altar, just like a shiver of like, ooh. And you feel an urge to indulge. Like it's been so long since you drank mead or ate something delicious or since you danced or like touched another person in lust. It's been way too long since you've done those things. It's not absolutely overwhelming, but there is a feeling of like, you deserve it. You you should indulge a little. You should treat yourself. You long to dance to music that you've never heard before, or experience things that are new to you, or things that are very familiar to you.
Well, while he's doing this, Sigurd's gonna look over at Njal, and you said you saw a face in the fire, yes? Was it this face? And she'll point to this creature that's there, that's in this stone.
It was too vague in the fire. It was really just eyes and a mouth.
Okay.
What you saw, Neil?
Yeah, I think he just shrugs.
They said something about music, yes? In the village, Illiger? The druid.
It did. Yes, what was it? That those who met the old man of the woods were compelled to dance and sing. And that he feared the sun. Belager's eyes look up. His icy eye stares at this like break in the branches that the sun, the shaft of sunlight that's coming down. Is it like on the altar itself? It looks
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
So he'll look down at the altar. Does it look like some of these food offerings are like a little bit old, like they should have been collected by now?
Yes, for sure.
Maybe the old man can't take his offering because of the sunlight. We could climb up and shelter this in shadow. Perhaps make a small makeshift canopy put above it. I mean, if we're trying to help out a terrible creature of this dark place.
There's a rustle in a bush, and a deer comes out of it, and it's got a flower in its mouth. And it walks towards the altar and drops it, totally ignoring you standing there. It like drops the flower at the altar, and then sort of like looks around, its ear twitches, and then it will like head back away.
I think Einar will reach for like an ale skin or something, and like immediately just kind of pop it and immediately just start drinking it.
Ale has never tasted so good in your whole life. It's delicious and cold and refreshing and just incredible.
Why is he drinking?
Aina, come, we must go. We are losing the light.
This is it. We've and perhaps, I mean, I made the offering. Perhaps, maybe if you made an offering.
Did you say Sigurd? You cut out a little bit there. I missed it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Sigurd will kind of look around after seeing the deer with the flowers. Are there any flowers around, Lloyd? Can I find some easy enough?
Sure.
She'll probably walk over and take out a dagger and slice up a couple of the flowers. And, a scrap of leather and wrap it around the stems real quick and kind of weight them down a little bit. And she'll stay as far away from the altar as she can and kind of give it a little toss. She's trying not to get super close.
Can you make me a wisdom save, please?
Damn it. I was hoping it was a range thing. Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me look up what my wisdom save is, but I rolled really good, so that's okay. Okay. 19.
Okay, yeah, you feel it for a moment. You feel like a rush of pleasure as you like place the flowers upon the altar, and then you like shake your head. Maybe it's the pain in your eye that stops you falling further into that feeling, but you are able to hold off from it.
I think she'd kind of back away from the altar and maybe put a hand up on Einar's shoulders and like kind of maybe try to like
Can you
take a
make me
step
another
back.
wisdom save, please?
Shit! No! Oh no! Lord, you're killing me! Oh, that one was not as good. 14.
Einar looks great. Like, he has become extremely handsome in the past couple seconds. And just like Einar, you feel this like urge to relax and treat yourself and indulge a little in the things that bring you joy. You deserve it. You've gone through so much bullshit. Like, your eye is in agony over what? And now that you can find some peace, why would you not find it?
Just to clarify, am I compelled to actually start hitting on Einar,
No.
or am I
You're
okay?
not
So I'm
compelled
okay
to at all.
okay.
You do. It's not. You're not even compelled to do anything. But you
Okay.
just have this like strong feeling of like, why shouldn't I just enjoy myself a little?
Mm-hmm. I think she puts her hand on his shoulder and she kind of, maybe it's just this like tingling sensation that starts in her fingertips and climbs up her arms, and she, when it gets to that side with the eye, it shakes her out, but she kind of takes a deep breath and she'll look over sideways at Einar, and the sun's hitting his beautiful golden hair so wonderfully, and you will be a great leader. You've grown into quite the man. And she'll maybe just give him a little bit of a pull back and see if she can move him away.
So you felt it too. There's a power here.
It's very nice. Isn't it nice?
Certainly doesn't feel evil or wrong. Which
It does not feel wrong. Isn't it? Isn't the sun warm?
we leave, I don't know if we'll be able to find this place again.
That makes you both feel sick. The idea that you would not be able to find this place again gives you that feeling like you've been smoking for 20 years and now you have no money to buy cigarettes. It gives you the feeling of like the anxiety of a thing that you need to have daily and you don't have it, and you might not have it anymore.
I think we'll always find this place. I find things. But maybe we should
No.
stay. Maybe we should stay.
I think we were meant to find this, but
I think the old
well,
man
as
might
you had
meet
said,
us here.
this forest is it's different. This creature has allowed us to find this glade.
It makes some sense if the animals are busy collecting flowers as to why they're not making noise.
Belaga, you said it yourself that you saw these symbols.
I didn't see them. The ravens saw them and told me of the tale. he says as he finishes like weaving together these branches to make like this makeshift shelter that he intends to put above the thing. I don't know how big this standing stone, if he needs to like climb in the trees to do it, or
So it's like a tiny little gap in the canopy. You could easily like cover it without much issue. Like it's like almost like not even like a laser line of sun, you know,
Yeah.
just barely breaking through.
Yeah. He'll look over at the raven, and they'll like both cock their heads to the side for the briefest of moments, and then he'll reach out and block the shaft of sunlight.
Yeah, there's a rustle in a bush, the same one the deer had come from, and out of it steps a man. Not exactly a man, larger, though not a giant. Legs like a goat, with cloven hooves, and he's got two huge antlers from his head, which are wrapped in like bells and feathers and things like that. So every time that he moves, there's this weird music that follows with each step. And he'll like turn his head to the side and see you. And there's a look of uncertainty on his face. There's As you look into his face, you can see that he's a very handsome man. Looks like he's been chiseled out of stone, but his eyes have the weird pupils of a goat, sideways, strange-looking eyes.
He doesn't look old, right?
No,
Yeah. So not an old man at all.
Are these
Quite-
for you? Belager will say as he looks down at the offerings in front of the stone.
they are.
Mm. They call you the old man of the forest.
They do. That is not a name.
Belager opens his mouth to speak, but then looks over at Aina. Do you think that Niall and Belager would notice any of like the strange behavior from Einar and Sigurd in this?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they're not like they're acting like trashed idiots, but like definitely, I think you would feel like sense some kind of like tipsiness or like weirdness from them. You know.
So Belager will continue to speak, and he will say, "We have heard tale of you. Our friend is wounded. I would happily shade these offerings so that you could collect them. Were you able to heal her eye? Is this something you can do?"
That is a great deal to ask. Some shade.
Hmm. Well, what would you propose?
It is possible that I could do this for thee. But there is always a price.
Mm-hmm.
It would not be some great thing that I ask. Small thing, trifling thing.
We are not from Tuatha. We are Iskolfin, and we do not make a habit of agreeing to deals until we've heard their terms.
Hmm. Thinkst thyself clever. That can be respected. The ruin of the eye. That is a price paid. For perversion of the god's will. Thou broke ancient laws in this land. but I can cure it. All I would ask in return is a small thing.
Said that twice now. What is this thing that you have?
This one, the golden hair, a name and a promise. Thy child shall have a name that will come to thee upon its birth. That is the name that it must bear. And a promise thou will make to me, simple promise, that when the time comes, thou hearest mine voice within, thou will act without hesitation. You agree to these 6 friends, I.
I think Niall has said nothing, but he has pulled out this pewter amulet of Mjolnir, and he's just rubbing it between his thumb and index finger as he's watching this, his eyes having left this creature, this old man of the forest.
Thy god of sky cannot see you here.
That doesn't help Nero at all. That makes him more nervous once he says that. I think he pales a bit.
Of course, you could try to kill me. That is why you have come. I can sense it in your hearts. I will not make it easy for thee.
You can sense it in our hearts, then you know that we came to help our comrade. You will know that we discussed it before we came. Options to speak with you and not
You
take your head
decided
back.
the life one such as I was worth the eye of your companion. That you would kill, for the sake of her gaining a second eye. You would undo the consequences of your actions through murder. Do not think yourself noble.
And you would not kill for those that you care about. To give them a bit more ease in their life, to bequeath unto them the pleasure that they deserve.
Right to kill when it could function perfectly fine.
Of course, is the will of the Allfather.
It is not the will of my father.
Well, the decision is not mine to make. Nor yours, he looks at Niall. Nor yours, he looks at Sig.
Give thee
It's
time
yours.
to consider. Do not touch the stone. You will not wish to leave. And he'll step back into shadow and vanish.
Sacred. The way it is a life for a life. You're not just missing an eye. Let's be honest with ourselves. There's no way to keep battling the infection. Sooner or later, it will take over, and you will die. So, either You die. This creature dies, and in return, you gain an eye. Or a future unborn. Many, 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 many years from now. But one way or another, it is a life for life.
I can't believe it. My ears are hearing that you would callously give away a child, an unborn child, for Sigrid's eye.
Not her
He-
eye, her life.
Her eye will heal. Ingar will keep the infection at bay.
This is
He's
beyond
already
his.
done it.
No, he can only keep the infection at bay. He cannot restore her eye.
Real quick, Lloyd. Is that true? I mean, people can lose an eye and they can live. They can survive it, right? Like, is
She
she
could
gonna
live.
die?
She just won't have another eye, right? So that'd be one.
Well, I
eye.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand that part,
Mhm.
which mechanically just totally sucks the hard one.
Yeah, but you could
But-
live. Like it's possible with like Inger and the druid.
right?
That's
Like
what the druid
I'm
was saying.
okay.
Like,
I
they
just don't
could-
want to say that if I believe that she's gonna die. Niall's not a liar. He's not gonna say, "Oh no, she'll be fine." 2 days later, dead.
Like so, yeah.
it's all good.
Like it's touch and go.
walk it
Obviously,
off.
it's a very dangerous injury, right? Like, and infections are a huge and very
Right.
dangerous part of living in a time like this. But with the attentions of like Inger and the druid, it's like pretty likely that they could, almost certain that they could like stop the infection from coming in, and she would just be one-eyed. You know.
All right, then I'm gonna stand by what I said. Then that her injury, and then I'll just leave it at that for Niall.
There's a fourth option. I could. If I stay like this, I'm worthless to you. I could stay in the woods, and you could return and find another to replace me. I don't know about things like this. I'm not Inger. He would know. It,
I cannot. I cannot order you to stay in the woods, Sigurd. That would have to be your own decision.
as the name, giving the name of your child to this creature would be yours.
I feel that if we try to take the head of this creature, it may cost more than one life among us. So the price would be heavier to try to take it, I feel.
I'm not trying to tell you to do it, but you did want to see if you could bargain. You had to expect it to ask something. It has no need for gold, for silver, for weapon.
Yeah.
We are not so stupid that we didn't know the price would be unique.
Obviously, restoring. We knew that restoring your eye would cost.
Somehow. I would offer it mine, but I most likely will never bear children, so that is an empty deal. He said he will give us time. Do we sit here by this? She kind of looks over at the altar again and unusual place and wait the night out? Or do you make a decision now?
I know what you would say, Uncle. I know where you stand. With Inga with you, he knows more about these things than I.
Inger is a clever man. What would he think?
Sure, he would find some way to outsmart this creature.
He would find another way. Does it seem strange that a druid was so quick to offer a cure with the head of an ancient creature that lives here?
It
Seems to
is.
me that they must be enemies of some kind, whether or not the druid would say so or not.
The druids are. They're ones of the woods. Perhaps he does not like that this creature controls these woods and wants, like his queen, for us to eliminate his competition.
What if we were to bring something of his out there, expand his reach, so that this wood could grow further? Right? This is his domain. This is his world. He's stuck like that Jotun was stuck on the island. What did he want more than anything else? A way out.
Do we ally with this creature in return for betraying the druid and the queen?
Were it me, the last thing I would do would be give him the name of my firstborn. I would sooner die trying to take its head. But the choice is yours. I don't know the answer. I do not envy you. These decisions you must make, but you must make them.
What was the druid's name?
I can't remember.
Finbar.
Membar? Oh, Finbar. Okay, got it. All right. I will, I guess, call this creature back.
Yeah, there's a weird couple of moments, and there's like a shudder, and then it seems to step from behind the stone. Huge and way too broad to be behind it, but it seems to step out from behind it just even so. Thou hast decided.
Perhaps I have a counter offer. Or do you know of the druid Finbar?
In Rathawine, I do.
He does not seem to be an ally of yours, but he is the one who sent us here to collect your head.
You are not the first.
I do not doubt. But perhaps instead of offering you my firstborn, what if I offer you Finbar?
Generous. But I have made the deal. I have offered you the bargain that I am willing to accept. I do not believe that you could get him With the things that I ask of you now, I know that you can provide for me.
Are the two of you at odds?
It does not concern you. The offer has been made. Decide.
But I cannot believe that you would want to stay in this forest.
Of course not. But I am not worth anything to you with my eye like this. The wildlife's getting rowdy up in here.
And then a cat appears out
It's
of nowhere.
such a powerful meow.
She's a little old lady.
I believe Baeliga is right. We will find another way.
I think he just told us there was no other way. He's not willing to take another offer.
I will give Njal a side look in the sense of that look of can we take this creature? I'm just looking for a yes, nod, or a no.
There is the most subtle shakes of his head. This is
Lloyd,
not a
how many
mor- this
people
is
did
not
we
a
bring with
mortal
us?
thing.
You brought
We only
5.
brought 2. Oh yeah, we brought 5 other men.
We brought 5 other people with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all tightly gripping their Mjolnir amulets and spitting on the ground and trying to ward off the evil of this thing, they think.
Yeah.
But they're there, and obviously they'll fight if you want to fight.
Right. But Njal gives us no.
Very, very subtly.
Got it. All right.
Um,
All right. Then I'm afraid there is no bargain to be struck here.
I see.
So I know that it is you who brought us here. And now that we wish you no harm, I ask that you allow us to leave peacefully, and we will leave you peacefully.
But you do wish me harm. If you believed you could kill me, you would do it. But you lack the spine. And that is why your friend will walk one-eyed the rest of her days. And why that castle that you call home will never belong to you.
I want to make a wisdom check.
The name of your child, and a promise fulfilled when I demand it. I will cure your friend of her ailment.
Words. Njal speaks up finally. There's a little bit of a quiver in his voice, but it steadies as he goes. Bold words meant to incite a bargain that he has said he does not want to make. Would you go back on what you said? The bargain is not taken. No one has put arms to you. Will you not let us go?
You can go wherever you like. But to lie to me, to say that you do not wish me harm when it is clear that you do, your duplicity so transparent.
Yeah, I think Jarl shakes his head when he says that. That is not true. I did not come here to harm you. I came here to protect my lord. And that's true. When Jarl came here, he came here with the intention of not killing this old man of the forest. I can't speak for the rest of our crew.
The knots that you Northlanders tie yourself in to convince yourself that you are noble. I did not come here to kill you, but I would kill you if my lord commanded it. Hypocrisy.
No, I think Jarl shakes his head again. He says, that's not true either. I would have protected my lord, but I would not have struck a blow on you unless you meant to do it to my lord. And again, Jarl is speaking the total truth. He was not intending at all to attack this thing, just protect Einar.
Yeah, it smiles. You can see it's got like
And
elongated
yes,
canines
he is
and
twisting knots.
yeah, it knows. Like you're turning yourself inside out to try and justify, and the smile will tell you everything that you need to know
okay.
about it, what it thinks.
They call you the old man. I'm sure that you've lived a great many years, many more than I have. Many more than any of us, perhaps all of us combined. Probably. You can see into our minds and into our hearts. And yet, what little bit of information that you have that we don't, you guard so jealously, so closely. Why would someone as ancient and powerful as you say that your relationship with the druid is no concern of ours? It is because you are scared for us to know what is in your heart. Look into my heart, old man. Is it fear that you see?
You are incapable of it. That does not make you brave. It makes you insane. The affairs of the eagle are of no concern to the ant.
And what of me?
What of you?
What do you see in me?
Fear. Crippling fear. Fear of your obsolescence. Fear that your usefulness is behind you. That you would do anything to get that eye back. And you cannot see what you could be, only what you were. That is why you will never progress. It is the way of all men.
She's gonna, this whole entire time, unless he's moved away, Sigrid's never, she's not pulled her hand off of Einar's shoulder. And she's gonna kind of, if it's still there, she's gonna grab it and kind of spin him towards her so he can see in her face and see the wound. And she's gonna look at him and she's gonna say, there's a fifth option. Teach me to fight. Up close. Like you. Instead of dancing on the sidelines, let me join the wall. I will be worthless for a time, but maybe I'll be good at it.
See how she doubts Why do you keep this one? She does not believe in herself.
Because I believe in her. I have already told you no. Now, unless you wish for a fight, and I don't think that is why you came here, be gone and let us leave.
It gives one last look to each of you. With those weird goat eyes. Very well. And it will step into a shadow and vanish.
Gallagher, take down that canopy.
Yeah, there's a swift strike of the spear, and it shatters and falls.
Right. Let's return. We've been in this forest for far too long already.
Do we still feel the pull to not leave this place? Or has that kind of disappeared with his words?
When he stepped through the shadow, it vanished. Okay, well, with his permission to leave, you can find your way out of the forest with no issue. It takes you a very short amount of time. Clearly, there was something that he was doing that was making you walk in circles or in spirals. But with him not working against you, you're able to make your way out of it quite quickly, and you were able to find your way out of the oppressive dark and wet and noise of the forest and out into the fresh air once again. It's the work of another day to get back to the camp where you had been previously. And you'll see that the army is no longer there. They must have gone further in to seek the battle that they're after.
Unless we need rest or anything, I mean, I would say we gather Inger and we try to catch up with our war band. And if the druid asks, we will simply say that we could not find this old man in the forest.
Okay. Well, let's take a little break there and we'll come back in a few minutes for finishing up. All right, so we're actually decided that we're going to finish up for the day because I don't have anything planned and we don't have Aaron, and so we're going to wait till next time and we're going to do some proper war then. So thanks for everybody who hung out and watched. There was actually a few people here, so hello.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Go buy Iskluft. Buy it.
Yes, buy it.
Lloyd
It's
wrote it.
fluff.
Buy it.
Yeah, buy it. It's on drive-thru. Okay, bye.
Oh, look at the bye.